Well, Dragon Ball fans around the world already knew this disappointment was coming, so for those of you who are smart enough to not care, nerd content creators over at Death Battle recently decided to release their thoughts on a fight between Goku's father Bardock and Omni-Man from Invincible. Now, if you know anything about Death Battle, they have a history of an obvious bias against anime characters, but Dragon Ball characters especially have always had a rough time over there. And this one was just an outcome I feel was ultimately disrespectful, because there ain't no way y'all are really trying to tell me that Omni-Man is stronger than Bardock? Like, I don't think y'all understand how delusional it is to assume that when Bardock is as strong as King Vegeta, who can casually one-shot 3 planets with the wave of his hand, that somehow Omni-Man would be physically stronger than him? Not only that, this blatantly ignores the fact that Bardock has access to all Omni-Man has and more. While the Viltrumites may have some slight genetic advantages through the use of their several thousand-year lifespan and their ability to travel in space for weeks without any outside assistance, Bardock and the rest of the Saiyans have the added use of ki energy and manipulation of it in ways that can add on to their already overpowered physical attributes. Not only that, but Bardock literally has future vision, so are we really gonna pretend that he wouldn't have the upper advantage during the majority of, if not all of this fight? I mean, granted, they did give Bardock the category of speed and made it clear that Omni-Man is nowhere near faster than him, but they acted like their other stats are close and they're not, especially when you add on the added fact of Omni-Man's experience being in conquering planets, whereas Bardock's experience is in destroying them. Yes, Viltrumites and Saiyans are very similar in the way that they establish dominance in their universes. However, there is an immense gap in power between them as species, and the proof for this fact is in the fact that they thought this debate was worth having in the first place. Since Bardock has always been stated to be a low-class Saiyan warrior, and Omni-Man is canonically like the second or third strongest Viltrumite of all time, so there's no real logical argument that should even be tried to be made here about how Omni-Man could win, especially when we remember the fact that Omni-Man struggled to destroy one planet with the help of 2 other Viltrumites, whereas a low-class Saiyan can wipe out multiple by waving a hand. Then you have villains who Bardock stood against that would absolutely one-shot Omni-Man. Take for example First Form Frieza, who has a power level of 500,000 and is able to one-shot Planet Vegeta with just one finger, not exhibiting any effort whatsoever. And Super Saiyan Bardock has the same power level of First Form Frieza. So you know what that means? Death Battle is directly saying that Omni-Man is stronger than First Form Frieza and anyone else that Bardock could potentially stand against from Dragon Ball, like anyone from the Namek Saga, Saiyan Saga Vegeta, hell, even Gas in his awakened form from Dragon Ball Super. And I don't think I had to explain just how delusional you really have to be to think this is sound logic and reason. I mean, I really hope there's nobody on the internet that thinks Omni-Man, the guy who can maybe wipe out a civilization on his own if you give him a few months, is stronger than Frieza, the intergalactic conqueror who took over the entire universe on his own. Frieza is literally so overpowered that the one time he trained in his entire life, he went from being a universal threat to being stronger than multiversal characters in one training session, literally. Then you have the fact that in their own universe, there's an alien race that is stronger than Viltrumites solely because of the intensity of the gravity on their home planet. Do y'all not realize that intensified gravity training is literally like training wheels for all of the Z fighters? Even if you want to say that wouldn't extend over to fighting someone like Bardock, he casually spends most of his time traveling to different planets across the universe to sell them. Don't you think at least one of them would have such high intense gravity? So yes, there is quite literally no way in any timeline that Omni-Man was ever going to actually beat Bardock, because claiming so means you think Omni-Man is stronger than First Form Frieza, Vegeta, and Dragon Ball Super characters, all of which we all know would genuinely one-tap Omni-Man like he was simply villain of the day. But anytime you ask Death Battle which anime character wins the fight they have prepared, almost every time without fail, the anime character loses. And I understand that they give these outcomes for the clicks and to make sure that they get the community talking, and boy did I fall for it. But it's just because the idea that Omni-Man would win a clash against any Super Saiyan was just honestly hilarious. I understand that as Americans, some of us have a natural bias towards comic characters, but the reality is a lot of anime characters outscale their comic counterparts by default. The power clips in anime, especially Dragon Balls, are just so incredibly stupid. There's no logical way a character who's arguably multi-continental at full strength could even compare to one of Dragon Ball's low-tier Saiyan warriors. Add all this with the fact that since Bardock has ki, he's able to augment his physical stats and abilities far beyond that of Omni-Man's and even increase his attack's ranges. All he has to do is focus on sharp and explosive attacks without too much effort, and Bardock could easily turn Nolan into a memory. But hell will probably freeze over before Death Battle gives us a fair rendition of a battle involving anyone who even slightly resembles Goku. Did you agree with the outcome? Join the Discord and tell me how you feel about all this, because we're probably going to be in there yapping about it for a while. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on if you're new here. Also, please considering buying a channel membership because they help support the release of the videos. Thank you for watching. I love and appreciate you all. I'm God, signing out.
I come in clutch like a genie. Don't talk unless you need me. You talk too much, you need it. All of my bitches look like models, she in love with me. When we link, it's flashing lights and cameras, got a blammer.